Hello, greetings, and salutations. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Today I'm going to be telling you about my experience visiting Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Had a good time there. I think you would have a good time as well. Let me tell you a little bit about it, but before I do, I got to do a little housekeeping just to get out of the way. First off, if you would like to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, or you'd like to go to Universal Studios, you can reach out to me in a couple different ways. One way is through social media. I have both an Instagram and Facebook account, and they're both the same handle, Jay's Paradise Travels. It's the name of my business. That's Jays. There's no apostrophe in there. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can look me up on Instagram or Facebook, and you can send me a message. Or if you want to, you can email me directly. My email address is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise.travels@gmail.com. All right, now that the housekeeping's out of the way, let me go and tell you about my experience visiting Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. I have been to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida before, many, many years ago. I was a little boy. I want to say 5. We took a trip down to Florida. Got to go to Universal Studios in one of the parks that we got to visit. And I think I did get to revisit it again, maybe a little older, 13, 14-ish. I remember. And both times I got to be pulled up for a show when I was a little boy. It was like the animal show. And when I was like a preteen or something like that, early teen, I got pulled up on a Nickelodeon Studios one. And I got slimed, which ended up being green pudding. I remember they told me, this is edible. You can eat this. And then later having to be like, get it all washed out of my hair and all that stuff when I got slime. Anyways, so I've been to Universal Studios before in Florida. Me and Selena together have been to Universal Studios in Hollywood, in California. We've been together. We've been there together many years ago. But this is not talking about my experience there. This is talking about my experience in Universal Studios Orlando, Florida, and just recently, we went on a cruise. And let me go into the experience of how I got there and the trip itself. So we were going on a cruise that was Sunday to Sunday on Star of the Seas on Royal Caribbean. I have a podcast on that. Feel free to check it out. And we ended up flying in Friday evening and had Saturday open. There was a friend of mine that had been on a cruise with us a couple times in the past, a good friend of ours that has I think it's a family member, it might be a close friend. I don't recall what the relation is, but had this person in her life that I guess works at Universal Studios and would be able to get us into the park. We didn't even ask about it. She just told us, like, if you ever want to go to Universal Studios, I can contact this person to help get you in. Okay, cool. So we were going on this cruise. We had a day to spare, and we said we'll be here. If it's there, cool. We'll be happy to do it. If not, that's all right. No pressure either way. We just letting you know. And sure enough, she reached out, was able to get us tickets to it, and we were able to go. It was like a 3 park in 1 type of ticket where we had access to Universal Studios, we had access to Islands of Adventure, and we had access to Volcano Bay. We ended up going to Universal Studios first. We got to go to Islands of Adventure after that, and we never got to go to Volcano Bay. Now, Volcano Bay, from my understanding, is like a water park, which I'm not a water park guy. I'm not a water ride type of guy. We didn't go there, but we did get to go to the other 2, and I thought that was worth it to be able to, even if it was just 2 in one day. It's pretty much worth it. They're both, you could go to either one and spend a whole day at one or spend a whole day at the other. But yeah, so she was able to get us the tickets, which I thought was really nice. That's how we got involved with going to Universal Studios in the first place, and of course I want to tell you about it. When we flew down there Friday night, my uncle picked us up from the airport, dropped me and my wife off at my grandparents. We stayed with them. They were nice enough to let us borrow their car for Saturday, and from there we picked up my dad. He was staying at an Airbnb. We picked him up and then drove out to Universal Studios. Now, where they stay is very close to where the port is. So from there to Universal Studios is anywhere between a 45 to 60-minute drive away to Orlando. Not too bad, definitely doable within a day. And when we got there, there wasn't that much traffic, which was nice. And this was on a Saturday. Um, there was not that much traffic. There was some, but just not much, thankfully. Definitely have seen worse. We get in there, we park. Parking is about $30 during the day. However, later on at night, come to find out, after 6, I believe, parking's free. And so that's kind of good to know because there was when we eventually did leave the park, a lot of people were coming in. And it dawned on me that if the parking is free after 6 o'clock, they can go park, come in, and there's along with the parks, there's also this thing called the City Walk, which has a lot of restaurants and shops, and so you could go there after 6 on a Saturday evening if that's what you want to do. Go park for free and then hang out in the City Walk and shop and dine and do all kinds of other fun stuff without having to go to the park. There's that. Something to keep in mind if that's something ever that interests you in doing. Anyways, we parked. I think we were in like the Spider-Man parking lot area, or there was all these different type of themed areas. I think we were in the Spider-Man. That's easy for me to remember because he's my one of my favorite characters. I want to say he's number 2 on the list. And so we parked there, and we head on over towards Universal Studios. We had to get through security in order to go there, which was fine, whatever. I don't mind that. It was kind of interesting though that we go through security just to get to the City Walk area. And when I get into the City Walk area, because we had gone through security, there's a part of me that thought, all right, I'm in Universal Studios. But I'm like, no, wait, that can't be. We didn't show any tickets or anything yet. But it kind of looked and set up like I was already in Universal. I wasn't. I was just in the City Walk area. And the City Walk area has, as I mentioned, shops and restaurants. So the first shop that I saw that caught my eye was Super Nintendo World. And I love Nintendo. I love Super Nintendo. Um, and I grew up on Super Mario Brothers. So I had to go in there. And I went in there, looked around. Things looked pretty cool for me when I was a kid. All this is childhood memories and everything. I still enjoy Mario. I'll play it every so often. I live such a busy life. I don't get to play video games hardly ever, but when I do, every now and then, I'll get a chance to play Mario. I still enjoy it, even as an adult. Going through the store is kind of cool. I didn't buy anything, but I thought it was kind of cool going through the store. And then we left and went out. And when you go, there's as I mentioned, there's more shops and everything like that, and there's restaurants, and you go and there's a big, large body of water in the middle, and you can kind of walk around that water. And I saw there they had I saw a Panda Express. There was a movie theater there, a mini golf course. Excuse me. And and then they had different restaurants. I saw Bubba Gump Shrimp, which I remember eating Bubba Gump Shrimp when I was like around 20 years old. Lived in New York, went to Times Square. My parents were there. We went and ate at Bubba Gump Shrimp. That was pretty good. They had a Hard Rock Cafe there. Now, growing up, we went to Myrtle Beach a lot, like every December, and we ate at Planet Hollywood a lot. But they also had a Hard Rock Cafe. We didn't eat there a lot, but we did eat there a couple times. So there was a Hard Rock Cafe there. There was also this thing called Chocolate Emporium, which on the outside kind of reminded me of like, I don't know, Willy Wonka's chocolate factory type of thing. Kind of just had that type of look to it. Didn't go in there, but it sounded delicious and definitely sounded up my alley with the chocolate part of it, anyways, as much as I love chocolate. Um, yeah, so they had all those type of things around that, and that's City Walk. And I think an area where they may have like live shows that go on, and a bunch of other things too, a bunch of other restaurants and shops there. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Anyways, so we go to the right, and to the right is Universal Studios. I saw the globe there that they have that spins around. That's an iconic thing. You see that in the movie, right? At the beginning of any Universal movie, you see the globe that spins around that says Universal. And then you see the wall that has the Universal Studios Hollywood sign, along with all the arches. And I mean, what I really enjoyed because this is in the winter time that we went. I left Michigan, which is like 5 degrees out and a ton of snow, to come down here, and it's beautiful weather. I see the palm trees all around. real pretty, real warm and peaceful. It's like, yes, I'm on vacation. I'm not in cold, snowy Michigan anymore. And so we went into Universal Studios. As I mentioned, our ticket included Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. We stayed in Universal Studios till about 4 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, they were doing like this live concert event that was there. I forgot what it was or who was playing or what was the whole situation with it, but there was something special going on that night. And if you didn't have it as part of your ticket, you couldn't stay in the park. And it wasn't part of our ticket, which was fine, no big deal. So we had to be out of there by 6 o'clock. We ended up staying there till about 4 o'clock, and then from 4 o'clock we left, walked down to Islands of Adventure, and and spent the remaining time at Islands of Adventure. We probably left Islands of Adventure around 9 o'clock ish. So I want to say we stayed there probably around maybe 5 hours ish. And then we left. And when we left, it was at night, obviously. As I said, people were coming in still, probably to hang out. If it's free parking, might as well come hang out, have a good time. And then we went, we took my dad back to his Airbnb, dropped him off, went to my grandparents' house, showered and talked with them a little bit, went to bed, and got up the next day getting ready for the cruise. So that was the experience that kind of surrounded Universal Studios. But let me now talk about the actual park itself and go into details with what I want to tell you about it. I'll start off talking about the shows. Now, when we walked in there, after we went through their security, we got in there, and it's kind of like a big circle that you can go around. We ended up going to the right. And when we went to the right, we got to see a few things. The first thing that we ended up doing was catching a show. And the show that we had caught was called the Universal Horror Makeup Show. And what it is it's inside of a building, and they have on stage the main host as well as someone who's um, that works with the in the movie industry as they make up like the prosthetics for the villains and monsters that go on in horror movies. And they do give you like a history of it, and they'll even show clips of stuff that movies and um, TV shows probably too. I think both throughout the years of what they've done, getting these monsters, these villains, um, and they do it in a way that it's kind of like funny too. They kind of go back and forth with each other, joking. They joke with the audience. They bring the kids involved too. Here and there, they'll bring someone on stage. So even though like horror is a serious genre, they bring some comedy to it, which is good, which makes it kind of light, which I appreciated. And I say that because I don't like horror at all. I don't like watching someone get brutally murdered in a movie or something like that. Just that's not my. I don't want to. I just don't care for that. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be thinking of all that. I hate horror with every fiber of my being. But it is a genre that is not going away, sadly, because it makes a lot of money. People get entertained by it. People get entertained seeing someone slash someone to bits for some reason. I don't know. Love of your fellow human, I guess, just doesn't exist out there. It's just to some people. I don't know why they're entertained by that. I don't know. Now, to me, there's a difference between action and a good guy versus a bad guy, as opposed to someone that's just some guy that's going around slashing everyone's throat and brutally killing them. I hate it, but it's there. So I say that because you would think because of that I wouldn't want to go see the show, but I did, and the reason I did want to go see it is because I love behind the scenes stuff. I always love seeing behind the scenes anything, and to be able to see how they come up with these creatures. Now, yeah, so I should say that. I mean, some are just monsters, um, but in every movie, the monster always have to try to kill people for whatever reason. No monster can just be created and they're eating plastic and helping the world. Nope, nope. It has to be that they have to eat people's brains or something stupid like that. Like, why does it automatically have to harm other individuals? I don't know. But it wouldn't be a movie. No one would go see it. If Jurassic Park, I always joke about this. If Jurassic Park, if no dinosaur ever ate a human, Jurassic Park wouldn't make any money, right? For some reason, everyone wants to see somebody die and make money off of it. Whatever. That's where we come to as a human race, I guess. But anyways, I love behind the scenes stuff, and so and the fact that they had it as jokey made it more tolerable too, and I did enjoy it. I did like it, even though I don't care for the genre itself. I did enjoy that, and I'm off my soapbox now. Give my little rant about horror movies and the fact that I hate that it's a genre and that we have to always every Halloween see a ton of advertisements for them, and still now, even not even when it's not Halloween, they still come out with a bunch of horror stuff. Anyways, okay, now done. All right, so that was one show. We moved on from there, and another show that we got to see was called Animal Actors. And Animal Actors takes the animals that they've used in TV shows and movies that they train to do whatever. Um, and kind of put them into like a show. You have the trainers, cats, dogs, birds. Um, they had some other animals too that weren't exactly household pets. I saw some ducks. I saw a skunk at one point. You know, they bring them out, and it's interesting that you can get an animal to somehow train them to do a certain thing. Well, you know, come out and take a pop can and go put it in the recycling bin, or go take a piece of trash and go put it in the trash can. They do stuff like that, and a bunch of other cute little things. Very kid friendly. Even the horror show thing was kid friendly, as I mentioned. They kind of the horror show makeup show is kid friendly too. Although you got to be cautious. I mean, they do make a warning. It could be a little scary for some kids. Um, but this one definitely family friendly for all. And they even would bring a kid down there. I remember, as I said, when I was little, I was one of the kids that got brought down there. Had a vulture fly into my arm, or something to that effect. I don't know. I was like 5. I can't remember all the details of what I did. One guy, they had to like pull out a dollar bill, hold it up, and the bird went, took the dollar, brought it back to the trainer, and then eventually go bring it back to him. All kinds of things like that. And they had the stage set up where there was, I mean, it was green, so it looked kind of like grass. And I want to say, I don't know if they were real or not, but plants and trees, and then fake rocks and stuff like that. I think there was a little waterfall. They had the stage set up that way. So that was pretty cool. At the end of it, they had the trainers with the dogs that you could talk to the trainers, pet the dogs, take a picture with the dogs if you wanted to. Um, and so those are the two shows that we got to see. We got to see the horror show as well as the animal actors. There was another show called it was about Jason Bourne, and we all these shows had different times, show times that they started. And where we were at in the park, by the time the Bourne show was going to start, we had to kind of hustle to get over there in time, and we got there just in the nick of time. They let us in, and we were standing in this big room, crowded, full of people, just waiting and waiting. And eventually, something happened behind the scenes. I don't know what, because I've never seen the show, so I don't know what's involved in the show. And they didn't give us details of what was going on, but just something happened. They had to delay it and delay it and delay it. Well, people kept leaving. And after a while, I was like, all right, I guess the show is going to be canceled. They're not going to do it. Maybe they eventually did. I don't know. But we just left. So, of the 3 shows that I know of, we got to see 2 of them. I enjoyed both of them. The third one, I'm sure I would have enjoyed too. There may have been a 4th show that I can't remember. I can't recall. I don't remember seeing it. But yeah, so of the 3 shows, we got to see it. 2 of them, and I enjoyed it. All right, so those were the shows. Now the rides. Let me talk about the rides we got to go on. Right after the animal actors, we went, and there was the ET Adventure Ride. And ET Adventure Ride is a classic ride. So much so that there was a bit of a line. Not that we had to wait super long, but there was a line that we had to wait in. And when we got in there, we got in line, I should say, and started going towards the building that you go inside of. Before we got allowed into there, I heard people chanting "E.T., E.T., E.T." And these weren't people that were my age or older, because E.T. was like when I was a little boy. I'm in my early 40s. Um, it wasn't like these people were in their 40s or 50s or anything like that. My generation, when they were young and seeing it, No, this was like younger ones, like in their 20s maybe. So E.T. was way before their time, and yet they were chanting E.T. E.T. So obviously, just goes to show you how much of a classic ride this ride is, which I was happy to hear that. I remember seeing E.T. as a little boy. I'll be honest, I don't remember much of it. It has been decades since I saw E.T. I don't remember much of it. I little things here and there, but not much. I probably should watch it one of these days again. Anyways, so we get in there, and when you walk inside, when you get inside, the similar to Disney, where you before you get on a ride, you get all the stuff that's the the pre-show before the ride kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's not like you're in a line. You are, but there's stuff around you that's very associated with the movie. And when you get inside, it's like you're walking through a forest, and the forest it's pretty dark in there. You have all these fake trees, these big tall fake trees that you're walking through, and they had stuff set up where it was kind of like a makeshift whatever device to try to talk or get communication from extraterrestrials. And you're walking through all this, and at one point there is an ET. I don't think it was the ET from the movie, just an ET up there on like a rock, and it was like an animatronic type of thing. It would move around, and it would eventually talk, and then you'd see like smoke come out for the effects, and kind of would light up something. Anyways, that was kind of cool. That's all part of the stuff that you walk through before you get onto the ride. And I do remember riding the ride when I was a kid. I remember you're like in a bike, and ET I think is in front of you. Obviously, more than it can hold a few more than one person. It's multiple people. And I remember going up above the city, like in a dark night, and you could look down below and see the city below you. So I do remember that part, and that's kind of still part of the ride. You're kind of running away from the officers and the people trying to get them, and then you eventually go up into the night sky. I don't think this was in the movie, but again, it was a long time since I've seen the movie. But in the ride, once you leave, you actually take ET to his home planet where it's dying, kind of like a Superman Krypton type of scenario going on where Krypton's about to die. You go there, but ET comes home so he can heal his planet. And so you go there and it's dark and messed up, but then eventually he does save the planet and then it's light and bright and everyone's happy. All the ET creatures are happy. And that's the ride. That's the ET ride. Classic ride, definitely worth going on. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to go on it. I think you would like it too. From there, we went into the Springfield area, which hosted the Simpsons stuff. And there is a Simpsons ride there that we got to go on. The Simpsons ride, I believe, if I remember correctly, was where the Back to the Future ride used to be. I think that was part of it because it's a very similar concept. Back to the Future, I do remember Back to the Future riding that as a kid. Um, you get into a DeLorean, it kind of lifts you up, and then you're watching the screen and you're going about. I think Biff stole the DeLorean, and you're trying to get him back, and you got to try to bump him. Um, and you're going through all these different eras, and I think there was even a T Rex at one point. That was the Back to the Future ride. I didn't see that. That wasn't there anymore. Uh, that would have been another classic ride similar to ET because it was like that 80s time frame. But this has a very similar concept where you get in a cart kind of thing. You get hoisted up and you're looking at a big screen and you're going back and forth as you're following the screen. Just a different concept. And this one, instead of it being Back to the Future, now the theme of it was kind of like sideshow Bob was trying to kill the Simpsons in the amusement park, and you're kind of dealing with that and going through it. I mean, it's cute. And one thing I liked about the ride, not just the ride, but the stuff before the ride, similar to ET, is that when you're waiting in line, they actually have some TVs up, and they're showing Simpsons clips. In particular, an episode where they actually go to an amusement park. I think Krusty Land's the name of it, and everything that happens at Krusty Land. Uh, you get to kind of watch it. So instead of just standing in line, twiddling your thumbs, and just being at one with your thoughts, you actually can watch something. Kind of helps make the time go by a little quicker. I did enjoy that. When you got inside and you're waiting to get assigned one of the doors or areas for the car, they had it's like you're still in an amusement park in there. One of them, there was a Pooh, and he had there was different characters, and they would take turns, like I guess talking to you, kind of. It'd be kind of funny. And his was he had this little tiny thing, and it said, "Here's a mega nachos for $10 or whatever." It was like you get three nachos in it, three chips, and then another one was like the mega drink, and it was like this big, and with it you get a free refill. And when we say free refill, once you drink it and they're done, you let the ice melt, and then you can drink the ice for free. I thought that was kind of funny. So you thought that was funny too. So that's the Simpsons ride, and I did enjoy that. I don't recall if my dad did. With it, with some of these rides, as you get bounced back and forth, up and down, and all that, you got to be careful if you have maybe some back problems or if you have any kind of health condition, which they warn you about. But just telling you myself too. I don't. I'm good, so I get to enjoy these rides and I have to worry about it. But just if you do, and for some reason, I think he something about it he didn't care for. I don't know if it hurt his back or whatever. Anyways, we continued on to another area. Eventually, got something to eat, and then when we were done with that, we went on another ride, which was Fast and the Furious, which I think was called Fast and Furious Supercharged, if I remember correctly. Supercharged was it? Anyways, so you go into this building, and when you get inside the building, it's pretty big and wide open. Uh, and it's like they have it set up like you're inside like an old garage. And my dad was noticing the paint job because my dad's a painter. He's like, they did this all on purpose to make it look old. I'm like, oh, they did a good job. Um, and they had some cars that were lined out there. There were some cars that were a little bit more like older classic cars, and then they had some other cars that were, I guess you could say, on the newer side. They looked newer and pretty cool looking. I'm not a car guy myself. I'll be honest with you, I'm not, but I can appreciate if a car can go fast. I can appreciate that, or if it looks cool, I can appreciate that too. But that's as far as it goes as regards being a car guy. Other than that, I'm not. But as you're waiting in line, you walk by these cars, and they're pretty cool. And then you go into another little area, and that's set up where you'll see a truck with a TV on it and some other monitors as you're walking through that. And from there on the TV monitors, you'll have the casts from the Fast and Furious movies come up, and they're talking to you, kind of explaining the situation. Um, somebody's I forget, someone's out to get you. That's kind of the premise of it, which may be similar to one of the Fast and Furious movies. I kind of lost track after, I don't know, the fourth or fifth movie. Forgot how many they've made. I just couldn't keep up with them. Um, but anyways, the ride itself, once you get in there, yeah. So someone bad is after you, and you you're in a car, a big car that sits multiple people. It's like a bus almost, and you kind of go around. And similar to the Simpsons ride, where it's you're being up and down, jolted around back and forth and stuff. But everything's on the side of you. You're watching stuff on the side, not in front. Like the Simpsons, you're seeing a big screen in front of you. This is the stuff is on the side of you, and and it's like a high speed car chase type of thing. And you've got guys coming at you and helicopters and whatever, and Vin Diesel saving you, and all the rest of the gang is saving you from the Fast and the Furious movies. So that's the Fast and the Furious ride. And then once you're done with that, they pull you around and you head on out of there. Um, and then from there, uh, eventually we were about to leave, head to Islands of Adventure, but we ended up kind of making a turn someplace and went to a different part of the park. And from there, we saw the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show ride, which I thought was like, that's a ride? Okay. So we ended up going inside there, and inside was kind of cool. Like before you get up, you had to go upstairs to get to this place, but they had some memorabilia that were displayed from the Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon, who's currently the host of the Tonight Show. They had some for him, and then the other ones too. In the past, you had Jay Leno, Johnny Carson, whoever else that hosted it. That was all part of it. And then you walk upstairs, and a bunch of people are up there, and you have to wait for your color to be called. You get a color, and you could sit down. There was some places to sit, and they had TV screens that had uh, the Tonight Show going on with clips from whatever in the past, or even more recently, but still they had it. So you could kind of watch that as you're waiting. And then when you get in there, um, when it's time to go on the ride, it's a big long bench. There's a few of them. You go in, you sit down. They pull a bar over you, and you're watching a screen. So it's similar to The Simpsons in that way. And you're following it around. And the premise of this one is you're in a race with Jimmy Fallon, who has some sort of flying car type of thing, and you're flying, you're going all around Manhattan, New York City, and then eventually you go up into space and whatnot. And you're in a race with him, and that's kind of the premise of that one. They're all kind of similar in that way. These rides aren't necessarily roller coasters where you're on a track and you're going up and down and everything like that. You'll get that in Islands of Adventure, but here it's more of like these rides that you're watching a show in a way, and you're part of this uh, production in a way. Um, they're both fun. They're different, but they're both fun in their own way, and I did enjoy them too. Those were the rides that we got to go on, but there were some rides that we didn't get to attend to. One of them was in the Simpsons area. They had an alien ride, and when I say an alien ride, it kind of reminded me of like I don't know, the Dumbo ride, where you're in something, you're sitting in there, it's going around, and you're going up and down. A little bit more intense than the Dumbo ride, I think, but it's one of those like green aliens that are in the show, and you're going around and you're going up and down as you're going around, that type of thing. It didn't seem like it was too nuts. And then there was a Men in Black ride too that we were going to go on, but you ended up having to like put your stuff in a locker, and I think we just didn't feel like doing that. I think I went on a Men in Black ride years ago when I was younger, and if I remember correctly, you're in a car and you're going through the streets, and you have like a laser gun, and you're trying to shoot aliens. I think that was kind of like the premise of that. Whether or not that's still the case, if that's what this was, I don't know for sure because we didn't get to go on it, but I think that was it. And then another one was the Transformers ride, which I did want to go on. It sounded interesting. I would have liked to have tried it, but it was closed down when we went there. It may have reopened at some other point, but when we were there, it was closed, so we didn't get to ride it. So we didn't get to ride those ones, but the ones that we did get to ride were fun. They were nice. I enjoyed them. I do enjoy rides, and that was the rides. And then as I mentioned before, the Fast and Furious. So just talk a little bit about the food in the park. We got to eat at an Italian restaurant. I don't remember the name. Sad to say, it was right next to the Fast and Furious ride. We got some pizza, which was really tasty. There was an Italian food, and I think I got something else other than pizza. I just don't remember what it was at the moment. Um, it may have been like a maybe like a pizza roll or something. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember whatever it was that I ate, and I got to try some of my wife's pizza. It was good. They had really good Italian food there. I would recommend that. Yeah, and then and then there's an area where it's like kind of like a San Francisco type of area, and in that San Francisco type of area, they've got seafood restaurants. I think at least one, maybe even two. And then in the Simpsons area, they had a bunch of different restaurants. We didn't get to eat any of those places. Throughout it, you see like where you can get maybe like a turkey leg. I saw those quite a bit. We didn't get one of those. I didn't feel like paying $20 for a turkey leg. um, yeah, there's different varieties of food, but that kind of leads me just to talk about miscellaneous stuff with it too. So the Simpsons, as I mentioned, there was a lot of food there, and just in general, they have Springfield, and with Springfield, because the Simpsons live in Springfield, they had a Krusty Land, which is Krusty Land is what is like the amusement park in the Simpsons show. Um, a I don't really. I used to watch The Simpsons as a kid, but I don't really. I haven't watched them in years. But as a kid, I really enjoyed watching them. I even had a Nintendo game, Bart Simpson versus the Space Mutants, I think it was called. Never got to beat that, but I did have it, and it was a game I really enjoyed as a kid. So I did enjoy The Simpsons when I was younger, but as I grew older, I just kind of stopped watching them, and I guess I said I haven't watched them in a long time. But all the stuff that was in there was very nostalgic for me as being a kid when I because I do remember some of the stuff. And they had a Krusty Land, which is like their amusement park area, which had games and rides. They had a Krusty Burger. They had Moe's Tavern. They had Duff Beer there. There was a Quickie Mart as well as a Cletus Chicken. We didn't eat or at any of these places or get a drink at any of these places, but they were there, and I thought that was kind of cool. At least walk through them, and that was there. I did mention the San Francisco area. In the San Francisco area, there was a one big shark that they had like pulled up by its tail. I don't think it was real. No, it wasn't real. It was there for photo opportunity. And I want to say that that is kind of like reminiscent of Jaws, which I do believe they used to have a Jaws ride. I'm pretty sure that I got to ride that maybe in like Hollywood or in Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, we went on a ride. I'm pretty sure there was a Jaws thing there. Whether or not they ever had it at Orlando, I don't recall. They may have. You may know, and if you know, feel free to put it in the comment section. Um, but they don't have them there now. I didn't see any Jaws ride. I did see that shark though. They had that. That was kind of in the San Francisco area. They had like a Fisherman's Wharf area, as I said. Seafood restaurants were there. They had other stores, and they had that big shark there too. They also had on the other side a Central Park area. And when I say the other side, there was a big, as I mentioned, it goes in a circle, and it's a circle around a body of water. So really pretty to be able to look at and walk around. But yeah, they had a Central Park area near where the Simpsons was. And in the Central Park area, they had a DeLorean there from Back to the Future. Again, like I said, I think they used to have the Back to the Future ride there. I think that they did have it, and which this was like first of many memories with Back to the Future on this trip because once we got on Star of the Seas, which again, feel free to listen to that podcast. Once we got on Star of the Seas has a play called Back to the Future the musical. That's one of their production shows, and on TV they play Back to the Future just on a loop, one, two, and three, all three movies, just one, two, three, one, two, three. So little did I realize we were going to have a big full helping of Back to the Future this entire vacation, and it in a way started on Saturday when we went to Universal Studios and I got to see Back to the Future's DeLorean there, as well as a train. The train that was there, I think, was supposed to be the train from the third movie. So that's all in the Central Park area, and that's kind of cool to see in person. They had something called Mel's Diner, which I feel like Mel's Diner was at a show at some point in the past. But outside of there, at one point, they had someone be Marilyn Monroe, and she was dancing, and there's some other dancers around her. Um, I kind of saw it, took notice of it, looked at it for maybe a minute, and then we continued on. When we came back, that they were all eventually gone. There was someone that dressed up as Betty Boop, one of the crew members. She was dressed up as Betty Boop. There was another guy with her. I don't know everything about Betty Boop, so I don't know if there is a male figure in the Betty Boop comics or cartoon, or if that was just some guy that was supposed to be like a security guard. I don't know. Anyways, but there was Betty Boop, and then there was Scooby Doo, and we saw Scooby Doo and the gang like when we got into the park. The entire Scooby Doo characters were there. And growing up, I did watch Scooby Doo. And Scooby Doo was a little bit before my time, but I do remember watching it when I was a little boy. Um, it was uh, it was something that I thought was kind of cool because it was a childhood memory of mine. I mean, seeing these these characters. We didn't take a picture with them, but we did. I did take a picture of them, just not with them. And then we saw the Mystery Machine, which was kind of cool to see that too in person. Um, but yeah, growing up, I would watch that, and I remember at the very end, it was always They figured out who it was, whoever the monster was, the villain was, and pull off the costume, and reveal whoever the person was. And I remember a joke of the same thing during COVID, of all right, who's responsible who's the culprit for COVID? And they pulled off the mask, and it was Zoom, because Zoom got so much business and got huge during COVID. I thought that was kind of a funny joke. It made me think of that when I saw the Scooby Doo gang. Anyway, so they had the Scooby Doo characters there, and the Mystery Machine. That was kind of cool to see. Um, and what else? And there was I don't know. I think it was a restaurant of some kind. There was something there I saw. It was Cafe La Bamba. Again, we didn't eat at that. I guess I could have mentioned that during the when I mentioned food, but that was there too. That looked kind of fancy. It seemed like that was something that was for VIPs. Anyways, but good time. And then, as I mentioned, we did leave around 4 o'clock, and from there we went over to Islands of Adventure. I was going back and forth, debating what I was going to do with this, and I'm just going to stick with this podcast being Universal Studios, and then talk about Islands of Adventure on a separate podcast. I'm gonna keep them separate. Now you could do them both if you wanted to, and if you did, let me know, because you can get those type of tickets. Or if you just want to do one, not the other, whatever the case is. But if you want to go and take a look at it, you can let me know. Or if there's some other type of vacation you want to go on a cruise, again, that's my specialty. Either way, if you want to go someplace, let me know. You can reach out to me again through social media, Jay's Paradise Travels. That's Jays, no apostrophe, make it easy for you. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can look me up on Instagram, Facebook with the same handle. I got pictures that I posted there. Feel free to look at those and send me a message if you'd like to. If you'd like to help me, if you'd like me to help you book a trip, if you want to go see Universal Studios yourself and enjoy everything that I just talked about, let me know. Or you could reach out to me through email at j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. That is jay.paradise_travels@gmail.com. You can reach out to me through email. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, or watching it on YouTube, I should say, down below in the description, you'll see a bunch of different links. And one of those links is a link to my calendar. And you can click on that and book an appointment with me. We could talk either on the phone or via Zoom, and get together that way. Or you could look on my website, and on the website, there's a way to reach out to me there. So plenty of options for you that you want to get a hold of me, and I can help you with this. And feel free to share it with as many people as you can. I want to be your travel agent as well as your family and friends travel agent as well. Try to make this world a happier place, one vacation at a time. So please feel free to share it. If you did enjoy this video, I ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make some comments. Tell me about your experience. If you have any that you'd like to share, relate with me, I'd love to read them and interact with you. All these stuff just in general keeps podcasters going. But for me too, also a way to help build my business, what I'm trying to do, get my name out there. And again, be your travel agent and others travel agents as well. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from the video, took something away from it, and got you in the mood to maybe go out there and take a trip yourself. And I'd love to be able to do that for you. So thank you very much for tuning in again to this week's episode, and I will talk to you again another time. Take care. Bye bye.